All right. Thanks, Braden.
Thanks, guys.
Braden.
Is it working?
Yep. All right, guys. I got Zoe here. Davis, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Alonzo, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. There's nothing new about the offense, like Braden was saying. We're doing the same stuff.
Well, for you, I mean, going back to the beginning of last year, you had been, through this injury thing before. To have that happen, I mean, when did that injury happen? And just what was going through your mind at that point?
Well, so it happened like right before the season got canceled. We were doing like these walkthroughs, and it was just a weird freak accident where I just hit my shoulder weird, and it just felt wrong. And we got it checked out, and they said it was like a torn labrum, but the season was still going on at that point. So I was just going to play the season and then get it after the season. But the day the season got canceled, the trainers were just like, if we got this time, might as well, fix it up completely. And I was completely down for it. But then like a week later, we got the season back up or something like that. So I got to miss the season. But at the same time, I got to fix an injury it's pretty minor so far.
So did you ever think about hanging it up with all these freak injuries? I know Sean Chambers said that it actually crossed his mind, and you've kind of had this freak thing too.
That's an interesting question. That's a question that I talk to my family about all the time, especially after having several surgeries. But, for me, I'm thinking like, hey, if I'm still able to run, walk, if I'm still able to pass it, I'm going to play football. I mean, that's what I came here for. And, I understand if like my body was completely telling me I can't play football, but I know I have plenty of football in me. I know that it just giving me my opportunity. I'll be able to show that my body can still play football. So, I mean, yeah, the idea crossed my mind, but does it actually do I ever think about it? No.
Alonzo, for you, what makes playing football worth it? I think a lot of people would have probably just kind of hung it up after all the injuries.
That's a good question too. I think what the relationship between me and football is that this is actually football is probably one of the first times I ever felt part of like, a friend group, a new family, especially even in high school. So, coming here, playing it for the University of Wyoming and meeting all my friends for a lifetime and all these coaches that have done a great job coaching me. I mean, I think the least I could do is keep playing. And I think in my heart that playing football is just who I am. It's a huge part of what I've done for most of my life. And, that's just one part of me that I can't leave behind.
So Sean Chambers changed his number to 2 because his jersey had bad juju in it. I got a couple questions for you. Is that why you shaved your head? Because you had a head of hair. And second of all, are you guys still called the Dirt Dogs?
Okay, to answer the first question, what's funny was I shaved my head because I shaved it during when I had my shoulder surgery. So having one hand, I couldn't maintain it. Plus my mom didn't like the long hair. So I was like, you know what? I'll make her happy once. But no, I just cut the hair just to cut it. I mean, I'm not superstitious. But the second part, yeah, we still call each other the Dirt Dogs. That's a word that we like to represent. And I think, we still stick by that, and we're still the Dirt Dogs, baby.
How are you kind of feeling about the Tack room? Obviously, you've got 3 guys who have played a good amount of football. From your perspective, how do you kind of see things? Craig made it sound like that you and Frank are kind of ahead, and Rudy is maybe a little bit behind. How do you kind of see it?
I think I see the tackle room as a bunch of friends that want to get better in football. I think all the relationship between all the tackles is really well. I mean, Frank, Rudy, and even the younger ones, we all hang out and do stuff together. So I think it's a good room. We definitely compete. We like to talk smack to each other, but no, it's, whoever coach wants to put out there the best 5. But, I just know that us tackles are having a fun time getting better with these new coaches and new schemes.
So Alonzo, coming off another injury, is there any particular area you've had to, shake off some rust this spring? And do you feel 100% healthy?
I do. I feel 100% healthy. This is probably the best I've ever felt in a long time. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously not playing football for over a year. I think my technique's a little rusty, but that's what spring ball is for, is to get back into it. So, I felt rusty at the beginning of spring ball, but at this moment of time, I feel like I'm not 100% there with my skill yet, but it's improving drastically.
When we talked to Sean a couple weeks ago, he was all smiles when we talked to him too, and he kind of had this sort of, fresh perspective on, having had football taken away from him a few times, and he seemed like he was in a really good place mentally. It kind of feels like you seem like you're in a pretty good place mentally. Has this whole last year with everything crazy, the injuries, the COVID, kind of given you a fresh perspective on things?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, especially for players that have injuries, is just to stay optimistic. I mean, if you're going through an injury and you're missing time, the last thing you want to do is have a bad mentality. I mean, that'll just make time go longer. But I think, being optimistic, I mean, we got new coaches, a new scheme. I got my year back to play football again. I mean, it's like a fresh start, honestly, even though I still only have 1 year left. I think this is a great and new opportunity for me to just show who I am as a football player and as a person off the field.
This offensive line, Zoe, has been really good over the last few years, as everybody knows. But have you ever been surrounded by this much talent? I mean, you're 2-3 deep at some positions.
Oh, it's amazing to see it. And, just like going through the spring ball, like I step back and look at the whole unit, and it's like, man, like this is probably the best I've ever seen the unit. And it's give credit to us. Like I know like these coaches, they came in and they give us what we need to get better. But, after having several coaches here and there, just the mentality this unit has, it's just we want to play football and we want to get better. And we will do that, whatever it takes.